Hi, Barbara.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yes, everybody.
Barbara and Judy, okay. Okay, PPS Chair Chris Ellison, we have a quorum and we're set to begin.
Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to Community Board 10, Police and Public Safety Committee. Today is January 18th, 2023. Today's agenda is a State Liquor Authority license for beer, wine, and cider for Narrows Cafe located at 1001 4th Avenue. Item number 2 is Georgia Cuisine Incorporated. It's a transfer of a stock certificate, basically, for New York State SLA license number 1322324. And number 3 is for Tequila Restaurant Corporation. It's for a liquor license, and they are located at 8321 5th Avenue. And I'm not sure if it's for, I looked at the application, I don't know if it's for a transfer of the license number 1315750 or for a new.
Yeah, I guess when we get to that point in the agenda,
Yeah.
we'll ask the applicant because that was a confusing point to
That was
me. Yeah, first was new and then it was a transfer. So
Correct,
I guess we'll start with Narrows.
yes.
So the applicant's representative, and I believe the applicant are in attendance.
Yes,
Terrence Flynn is the attorney and Richard Rosen is the owner. So I don't know who will be doing the presentation.
I can start it if you want.
Okay,
So I'm the chair, Chris Ellison, so I'll start, right? So you're applying for a beer, wine, and cider application, and the owner is Rich Rosen, and you also have listed as Kevin Spurbitz. And the
yes,
manager,
yes,
Ali. Stop. Your hours of operation are listed on the application as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Friday, 6 a.m. to 11, Saturday, 6 a.m. to 12, Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. The number of seats that you listed on the application is 100, with approximately 50 tables. There is no certificate of occupancy, so I have a couple of questions on that. And you have some outdoor use?
Yes,
Okay, so if you'd like to take it on from there
sure.
and let me know.
Yeah, if you look at the diagram, you'll see the way the building is from your picture you had up earlier of the building is on towards the corner, and then you have to the side of the building is an open area, which is ours. There will be adjoining the building a set of doors you can see by one of the other pictures that we gave you. And it opens up out to a decked area where there will be seating on the side of the building. Those hours would be the same as the indoor hours, except for on Saturday, we would wind up closing the outdoor. Yes, you'll see it there. Saturday, we would wind up closing the outdoor seating a little bit earlier. We don't have any noise or anything else with the neighbors, and there won't be any music outside of the establishment. It'll just be the diners, the people that eat there. We provided you with a menu as part of the application as well. We will be serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The owner has experience in the industry. This is a beer and wine license. He not held a license with beer and wine, but he has run other establishments like this without beer and wine. He is adding beer and wine to this location. We gave you other pictures showing the construction that's going on at the building. And to answer your question with regard to the C of O, there is no C of O now because the building predated the C of O requirements. So we filed for permits and we'll be getting a letter of no objection
Okay.
for use at the space.
Also, you listed, if I can ask a question.
Sure.
Are you also listed that you can have approximately 100 people in the premises? Did you file for a public assembly also?
Well, actually, if you look at the seating is a little bit, it's less than that for, yes, we are filing, just to answer your question, yes, we are filing for public assembly permit, but we think the seating is going to be less than 100 for the inside, but with the outside, it'll approach that 100 mark.
Okay.
But we won't have all those people in the premise at one time.
Mhm. Okay. Any questions from the board? I don't see any questions. Anybody have their hands up? No.
I have a
Yes.
question.
Sure, go ahead.
Since the area is very, it seems that it is residential, and the outdoor space is new. I lost a little bit of audio. Do you have any plans to do music outside or?
No, just diners. There won't be music outside. We can't have the sound reproduction outside. So there won't be music outside. It'll just be the diners,
Okay,
people eating their meal. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go over some of the items in the stipulation with the board.
I have a quick question. The only side of the building that'll have dining will be the lot side, correct? Not the side adjacent to the street.
No, the
Side street.
yes. If you look in your package, we gave you a diagram of it so you could see
Mhm.
that it's all on the lot side of the premise.
Okay.
And the owner, you said, has had experience in the past with no license, selling license. I believe I saw in the application he had Stewart's that was on 85th Street and 5th Avenue between
That is-
86th and 5th.
That is correct. As far as
Okay.
owning.
All right.
The deck space above the entrance, is that the upstairs tenant space?
Okay. Lori, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Excuse me if I'm being dense. I know there's a diagram. It appears to me as though that outdoor space with the wooden decking, is that in the back, like facing the backyard? So it would be facing,
No, that's actually on the, okay, so there's a nightclub next to us.
yeah,
And
Mhm.
this, all the space is only between the nightclub and our location. So I
Okay, I
yeah,
get
so
it.
if you see that pink wall,
Mhm.
okay, it goes all the way back and it's only on that side. So it's just, I guess if you're sitting there, you could see 4th Avenue, but you, on the two sides is the nightclub and the coffee shop. Or the
Okay.
restaurant, rather.
And
Yeah.
then immediately behind the coffee shop, is there houses there?
There's a garage that we have use on. You
Mhm.
can see it in that picture. And then
Yeah.
next to the yard is another driveway of the house that's next to their own driveway. So there's 2 driveways and then there's a residential home.
Okay,
Hmm.
thank you.
Yes, sure.
Now, Mike, I have a question. You've done a lot of construction, correct? You know, because I remember now,
yes.
coffee shop going there even as a kid.
Yeah. So
Only a
me too,
small
actually.
Only a small area in the front, you know, as I recall, and then the kitchen area. But seems like you've blown it all out.
Yes. Yes, he had the landlord. So I was a customer there since I'm 8 years old. My father used to take me there. I'm 58 now. And it's the same people that were there up until the pandemic. So they couldn't do it anymore. So I didn't want it to close. I actually have my hands full with things, but I didn't want it to close. So I took it and then we decided to make it better. He had an apartment behind it and he said he didn't mind if I expanded it. And so I spoke to my architect and we went to work on it. And that's why it's taken so long. We had to get permits and you know, do the right thing for the new bathrooms and things like that. So yeah, it's taken a while, but I'm trying to make something great out of it, you know, because it's such a little institution in Bay Ridge that we kind of a lot of us have went to. So yeah, so it does have extra room in there now.
Yeah, I know you've been doing the work there for like over a year, I think it is.
Yes. Well, that apartment wasn't available right away. It only became available a year ago. So that's when we really stopped and redid the project to get the use of it. I figured that it would only be available once, you know, until he put a tenant in. So he gave me one shot to take it. So we took it and, you know, we added it into the lease. And so that's where it's at.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions from the board? Before I go on? Okay. I'm just going to go over some stipulation and see if the board agrees. Right. The premise will operate as a restaurant. There will be no sale or consumption of alcohol on the premise until the appropriate license is issued by the SLA. Applicant will not serve or allow BYOB until license is obtained. The owner manager will be on site during all hours of operation. The hours of operation will be Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 10, Friday, 6 a.m. to 11, Saturday, 6 a.m. to 12, Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10. The applicant will not sublet the premise. The door shall remain closed with any amplified music. And I saw in your application, you can have background music. Am I
Right.
correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Background recorded and or music sound levels will remain below the level permitted by New York City Noise Code.
Mhm.
The establishment shall not sponsor or use any promoter or have promoted events. But I did see that you were going to have some type of birthdays or anniversaries. You may fade
yeah.
out.
Yeah, we were open, but since we did the yard, since we're doing so much work in the yard, we thought maybe if, people wanted birthday parties or small things like that, we would, we were going to entertain that.
There will be no smoking permitted. Once the SA license obtained, the committee or community board may call upon the applicant to address any concerns that may arise. There will be at least 20% visibility view into the establishment at eye level. The applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board committee at least 45 days in advance of any such change. And we look to deny your application unless you agree to the following stipulation. Now to the board, do you agree with this stipulation? Is there?
Yeah.
Lori?
Okay, so two things. Number one is I know the stip said that the noise had to stay within the noise code, but do we have a stipulation of no outdoor music? I know that we often do that because it's kind of become a thing where people put speakers outside and stuff.
Understood.
Just because of the proximity to the residences,
Yeah.
would that be okay?
That's agreeable to us. We indicated that there wouldn't be any music on the outside area.
Okay, thank you. And then Chris, just with regard to the phraseology, I still have a problem. I think it's in as a matter of expressing our intention and also in fairness to all the applicants that come before us. We always phrase it saying that they will not sublet. And I've voiced a problem with that phraseology in general before, and I want to state it again.
Okay.
Because I feel that when these people open a business, right? First of all, under the SLA rules, if you're not operating your own premises, when you sublet, you vacate, someone else comes in for the rest of your lease, generally speaking. So another person cannot operate under your liquor license. You're subletting to a separate entity. So it's not really a liquor license issue. And I think as a business owner, it limits the business owner. Let's say Mr. Rosen's business isn't going great, and yet he has a 10-year lease, and it's a great lease. He decides, you know what, I'm going to close up shop. I'm going to sublet the physical space to whatever, sweater store. It's a way of him to not have to continue to pay the rent. So I think the terminology sublet doesn't work here. I think I know what you mean. You don't want someone else operating their premises, but using the phraseology sublet, because this is part of someone's liquor license application, it's always bothered me. I don't really think it's the right phraseology.
So do you feel like we should remove it totally?
No, if you want to say that, the owner will be on premises, if you want to say that they will not allow promoters, if you want to say that, it's sort of like a rule with the SLA. You kind of have to run your own business, if you're the licensed individual.
I think you should say the establishment will not sponsor or use any promoter or have promoted events. Should I add something onto that?
I think what Lauren tries to say, the license holders should be at premises.
Yeah, that was said.
Yeah, I think that was the intention, and I think that that's what we're trying to convey, I think that's what should be said rather than subletting. I think it's unfair to the applicant.
Well, on number 4 of my stipulation, I have the owner or manager will be on site during all hours of operation.
Yeah,
That's
that
fine.
covers it.
I'll just remove that.
I'm good with that. I don't know about everyone else.
No, I agree. I see what you're saying.
All right, thank you.
Not a problem. Any other?
Sandy Vallis has his hand
Yeah,
up.
yeah, on the application, I don't see, who's the landlord of this building?
Rich?
Yeah. When you say the land, you mean the fella's name or the corporation name? I think I know I put the corporation name on it. I may have put his
No,
individual name.
you're asking for the landlord, right?
Yeah, the landlord's name.
I mean, I know their corporation name is Narrows Bay, but I don't know if you're asking for his individual name.
That's usually in the application.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see anything listed on the landlord.
Yeah, on the CB10 application, you're right. That box was left blank.
Hold on.
We can get you the exact name and the contact information if you'd like.
Is it the same fella that owned the coffee shop before you?
Yeah, his name is Jimmy Antonopoulos. I can't remember if I'm saying the name correctly, so excuse me. But yeah, they were the owners of the establishment for 60 years.
It's Jimmy Anagrostakos, I believe.
Yes, yeah. Yes,
He's
correct.
the one that's
No,
still
because-
owns the building?
No, because I looked up to see if there was any complaints and his name was on it, so.
All right.
But that was no
I-
complaint.
The only reason why I ask is that because I'm related to him, so for this case, I'm going to abstain from voting on this application.
You may recuse.
I
Recuse.
recuse myself, yes.
You should.
You have a great relative. Let me tell you that. I don't
Thank
know
you.
if there's a nicer guy in the neighborhood than him.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know Jimmy for years. So,
Yeah.
all right. So I'll read the stipulation again. Do I have to? As written. All right. So we seek to deny your application unless you agree to the following stipulation. The premise will operate as a restaurant. There will be no sale or consumption of alcohol on the premise until the appropriate license is issued by the SLA. The applicant will not serve or allow BYOB until license is obtained. The owner or manager will be on site during all hours of operations. The hours of operation will be Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 10, Friday, 6 a.m. to 11, Saturday, 6 a.m. to 12, Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10. The door shall remain closed with any amplified music, background recorded and/or music sound levels will remain below the level permitted by the New York City Noise Code. The establishment shall not sponsor or use any promoter or have promoted events. There will be no smoking permitted. There will be at least 20% visibility view into the establishment at eye level. The applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, will give notice to meet with the community board committee at least 45 days in advance. There will be no outdoor music. And once the SA license is obtained, the committee or community board may call upon the applicant to address any concerns that may arise.
Okay, I'll put that motion forward.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
We cannot vote for some reason.
Okay, I'm gonna try one more.
Okay, so we're voting, okay?
Yeah, but just vote with a show of hands. I don't know why it's not.
Yeah, it's not working.
working. Okay, all right, everyone. with their
In
hands-
favor.
Working now.
members. Okay, any opposed? Recusals, one recusal, right,
I
Sandy?
recuse myself.
Okay,
Oh, Judy, are you recusing or are you?
no, she's voting in favor. I hear she's.
Oh,
voting
okay.
in favor, yeah. Very good. Motion carries.
Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Good luck, Richard.
Thank you, good
Thank you.
luck.
Good, Sarah. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. Stop by when we open. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bring back memories. That's beautiful. All right, the next item on the agenda is the Georgian Cuisine Incorporated. This is a transfer of shares. The owners were, or the share owners were David Gogovichashvili.
Gogichaishvili, yes.
Okay. And Cecilia Kublier.
Kuburi, yes.
Kublieri. Thank you. Now from,
It's okay. Just mention just names. We are fine with that.
yeah, but you have two Davids.
Okay.
They both have a G. So you have David Gulievich Vili.
Yes,
Okay.
transferring his shares to
And
another.
he transferred his shares basically to David
Goreliani, yes.
Gogoliani. So both
Yes.
David, both would starts with a G in their last name. Cecilia has 55% of the shares at the end of this transfer. And David Gogoliani, 45% of the shares.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
And this the transfer of shares, and it's for you are looking for your liquor license 132234. So it's going to be the same liquor license. Am I correct?
Yes,
Yes. Now, I do not see anything on your hours of operation on the. I mean, you've been established since 2018, correct?
yes, everything stays the same, just, restaurant is run by us.
Mhm.
And everything stays same as it was before. It's
Yes.
just the shareholder is one is leaving, one is coming. So
Right. And Celia, you were the original shareholder and you had 50% of the shares originally?
yes,
Now you have 55%. So you're the
Yes.
primary shareholder,
yes,
head shareholder, I should say. So,
So
What are
Chris,
the-
there was a prior stipulation agreement on this.
Correct.
Whenever we have a corporate change like this, we just
Mhm.
like to review that. So the steps prior to that were adopted by the board in February of 2019, where this premise shall operate as a restaurant. There shall be only pre-recorded background dining music in the interior of the premise. There shall be no music in the rear yard. There shall be no smoking in the rear yard. The hours of operation shall not exceed 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Friday and 11 p.m. on Saturday. The applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board, police and public safety committee at least 30 days in advance of such change. And the applicant agrees that it will meet with the committee and or board for a 3-month review of its method of operation should any matters require attention arise.
you have the date of that, Josephine?
That was February of 2019.
Thank you.
February 25th.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions from any of the board members?
Chris, do we have any adverse history on this location?
Not to my knowledge. Josephine, did you see if there was any adverse history?
Yeah, there were about 5 noise complaints. I see
Mhm.
Lori has her hand raised.
Yeah, so I just want to speak to that. So I live like right around the block.
Mhm.
I did that stipulation in 2019. The prior tenant, before Cecilia took over the prior restaurant, I forget even who it was at the time. They were noisy and whatever. And Cecilia came in and it's been lovely. And she runs a very nice business and I see her there all the time. And as far as I'm concerned, living right there, no problem.
thank you. It's such
You
a
get
nice
better than that.
thing to hear.
Okay. Any other questions from the board or comments? Okay. So shall we put it to a vote to have the transfer
Yes,
or to approve?
okay. I'll try the poll one more time. Oh, forget it. It's not working. I don't know. I give up. We'll do a show of
All
hands.
right. So call the question. All in
Call the
favor?
question. All in
Thank you
favor.
very much.
Aye.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any
Thank you.
opposed? Abstentions, recusals, motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank you very
Got
much.
it, Celia?
Thank you.
Sorry. I could miss-
Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck to you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Okay, next item.
Tequila.
Can we leave now or we
Yes,
have
you
to-
Yeah,
can.
sure.
Thank you.
Just to let
Thank
you
you.
know-
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Next item is Tequila Restaurant Corporation. And like I said before, I'm not sure if it's a transfer or for a new license of liquor license number 1315750.
Okay, we have both, we have the
expires-
representative. Sandra Hung is here as representative, and I believe the owner is here too. So Sandra, do you want to,
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for waiting. So technically on the CV questionnaire, yeah, I clearly mark it's a brand new application. Also, we're applying for a transfer on the 30-day notice of the Community Board. As you notice, there is a current liquor license on premise called Tacos and Nopal Court. And the permit is about to expire on March 31st. So we plan to do a transfer and also apply for the brand new application with a temporary permit. So we want to keep the same method of operation at Tacos and Nopal previously 2 years ago. The reason why we're doing a transfer because the current owner, Tacos and Nopal, couldn't continue with the business anymore. There's a lot of financial problems and he couldn't hold it anymore. So he decided just to sell it and then just delegate the responsibility to somebody else who has also the same amount of experience dealing with Mexican restaurants. The owner right now is called Zenem Velez. He currently works at Taquitos Mexico at Avenue X in Brooklyn. He's been working there since 2013. And he's still doing he has a lot of prior experience in all of Mexican restaurants, but his current job is at Taquitos Mexico. He also have a liquor license. Pretty much the amount of chairs that we have is only pretty much 26 chairs. We anticipate probably to max it out 35, combine it with the employees and all. We don't have a lot of square footage indoors. The food menu is a little bit lengthy, as you can see, offering a variety of options of Mexican main entrees, appetizers, brunch menu, and so kids menu as well. The current operation that Tacos and Nopal used to have, and we currently continue, is from Sunday through Wednesday from 11 a.m. and we close at 10 p.m. And from Thursday, Friday, Sunday, we close a little later at 11 p.m. So there's no outdoor space, and we can pretty much serve food at all hours of operation. There are no seats at the bar. The bar is very, very small. Nobody can sit there. So it's all the way back to by the customer restroom area. And that pretty much it for the presentation.
Okay. Now, I saw that there's no certificate of occupancy also for the premise, but you did file for a letter of no objection.
Yeah, I tried to retrieve a copy. I know there was a very old one, but I had to, because like the problem is that the apartment building sometimes they don't upload like very old CFO on file. I know they changed the website to DOB now. So I requested my copy of CO, if any, and also submitted and paid for the letter of no objection for a brand new one. And there's a receipt I pay $100 fee. And also request for a copy, if any, because that's one of the requirements to request the LNO. And they will look for it. They will let me know.
Any other questions from the board?
I noticed on the application, on one application, page 2 of 2, the building owner's name is Ling Feng Ji. And on another application, the building owner's name is Lin Lai Feng. I just wanted to
I submitted to DOT an amended 30-day notice. I believe there was a typo with the L and the J.
Okay.
So yeah, I told her to, use that instead. That was a typo with the L.
Same person.
Yeah, it's the same person.
Okay.
So you're not sure if you're transferring it or applying for a new one. So it looks like you're applying for new.
It's both. It's both. So I marked both boxes. It's a brand new liquor license on premise, and also a 30-day we're applying for the transfer.
so you're transferring for the interim because the license expires in March, is that it? And then you're going to move forward with the new application?
Yes, and the temporary permit allows the new one. There are 2 boxes on the temporary permit. Either we do a contract of sale to do a transfer and we mark the box, or there is no contract of sale and there is no liquor license on site. But in our case, there is a contract of sale.
Okay,
So because there's a contract sale, it's for a new one.
Exactly. So
Okay.
technically, Liquor Authority will give us a temporary permit, and we are paying for a liquidator's permit, pretty much liquidating the liquor inventory, pay the $36, and transfer to the brand new corporation.
Thank you, Sandra.
Mhm.
Questions? Josephine, was there any adverse history on this
no,
site?
no
Yeah,
adverse
I didn't
history,
see anything either. All right.
no. Sandy Vallis has his hand raised?
Yeah, Chris, you got my question, but is there going to be any music with the premises
It's only background music.
background?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And there's no outdoor use, am I correct?
no.
Okay,
I think the prior owner had an outdoor
right.
on the curb. Are you not gonna you're not gonna do any outdoor space?
No, that's all for DOT, but the new owner is planning to take it out.
Okay.
Once he take full ownership.
Mhm. All right, I'm just gonna go over some of the stipulations with the board.
Oh, Lori has her hand raised.
Go ahead, Laurie.
Okay. Are you gonna, I mean, do you plan on any other, I mean, you're gonna take out that outdoor dining shed. Do you plan on any other changes to the premises at all?
No, everything is kept the same. We're not doing any modification of the kitchen, nothing in the dining room, nothing else.
Okay.
So, again, as I read this, we look to deny your application on you unless you agree to the following stipulation. And I'm going to read it for the board first, all right? See if they have any comments. The premise will.
I'm sorry, are you making a motion?
No. I want to read this first and see if you want to make any changes.
Okay.
Read the stipulation and see if you want to add or delete anything. It's a stipulation that I wrote and see if you want to add or delete.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
No, because at some point, somebody's got to make a motion. Like,
Yes.
So, and then the board discusses and then you vote. So I didn't know if you're making a motion.
Well, no.
No?
I'm
Okay.
reading the.
You can if you want
Part
to.
of the discussion, right? The premise will operate as
Okay.
a restaurant. There will be no sale or consumption of alcohol on the premise until the appropriate license issued by the SLA is obtained. Applicant will not serve or allow BYOB until a license obtained. The owner and manager will be on site during all hours of operation. The hours of operation will be 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, Thursday, 11 to 11 p.m. That'd be Thursday through Saturday, and Sunday, 11 p.m. to 10 p.m. The doors shall remain closed with any amplified music, background, recorded, and/or music sound levels remain below the level permitted by New York City Noise Code. The establishment will not sponsor any promoter or have any promoted events. No, I'll take that out. Since it was the last one, we took that out. There will be no smoking permitted. There will be at least 20% visibility view into the establishment at eye level. The applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, will give notice and meet with the community board committee at least 45 days in advance of any such change. And once the SLA license is obtained, the community board may call upon the applicant to address any concerns that may arise. Any discussion on the stipulation?
Well, we were taking out the promoter.
Yes, I took it out.
No, I think we should keep that in, that there'll be no promoter or promoted event.
Okay. The
Is that-
establishment shall not sponsor or use any promoter or have promoted events. Okay.
Chris, I'd like to make a motion to accept the stipulations as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, so all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions or recusals? One recusal, Elizabeth Lovejoy. Fifth Avenue bid. Okay, great. All right, motion carries.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Good luck
Sandra.
to the new owner.
Good luck to the new owner.
Hmm.
All right, Chris, that concludes your agenda for this evening.
Motion to adjourn?
I have some old business or new business.
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. So because I'm parliamentarian of the board in general, so generally speaking, we're supposed to follow parliamentary procedure just in committee meetings, in general meetings. So it's supposed to be whenever we put something out for the board to vote on, just the procedure is somebody puts it out there on the floor, makes a motion. You say, okay, I motion. There's a second by someone else. Then it's open for discussion by the committee, and then there's a vote on it. I mean, it's not like, if we don't follow that format, it negates it, but that's the format that we are supposed to be following under, the rules for the board. So, and I know we have new members, we have some old members who probably are used to that. But that's generally the format that every vote should follow. So I'm not trying to be annoying when I'm saying who's making a motion. I'm just trying to make sure we get all the formalities in there.
I understand, but.
And we also forgot to mention that, they should be attending the general meeting because the general meeting has the final say.
Correct.
We do notify all the applicants in their invitation letter. We do mention both meetings, but we will follow up with them. And we usually the next day the district office follows up with all of the applicants to invite them to the meeting.
Don't you do that when you go over the steps with them?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, and even in the intro letter to them, inviting them, we say there's two meetings. One is before the committee, and then the full board. We do explain that.
Okay.
So just for clarification for the next meeting. So when Chris says, I'd like to make a motion that we deny the application unless the applicant agrees to the following stipulations. Then he reads the stipulations. No, so somebody has to second that motion.
No.
Then he has to say what the motion is. So he'll say, these are the stipulations, right? This is what I've come up with. This is what my suggestion, this is my motion. Then somebody says, okay, I second it. Once somebody seconds that, it's on the floor for discussion. So now everybody makes their comments, you tweak it, you do whatever you want.
But just to make it easier. So I make a motion that the applicant the committee will deny the application unless the applicant agrees to the following stipulations. When does the second come in?
Right there.
Right there.
You need a second before. So basically it doesn't hit the floor for discussion, right? Nobody, we don't open the topic for discussion. Everybody's saying, oh, what about this? What about that? Until he makes his motion, So generally speaking, the way it was done, I mean, I don't know when, I think who was the chair when I started, I don't remember, Susan Pulaski. She, like, you come in, say, these are our agenda items. The person comes in, does the little bit. They come in, they say, this is our place. This is what we're doing. This is our application. Everybody has questions about their application, etc. The board gets all the information that they need, whatever that might be, and then says, okay, somebody, it doesn't have to be the chair, it could be anyone, says, okay, I make a motion to deny the application unless the applicant, agrees to this.
All right.
So that's a motion.
Seconded then.
Then there has to be a second. Then once there's a second, now that question is before the committee. And the committee can then discuss it.
After when does he read the stipulations? After it's seconded, correct?
No,
you read it before.
No, it's the same thing, just like we're at a general board meeting. It's a question. A motion is a question put to the board. You have to know what the question is, right? The question
that's what the question is with today. So he says that, the board will deny the application unless the owner agrees to the following stipulations. He reads the stipulations. And then
in effect, he's thereby making a motion. He's saying, I move.
Okay, so that is the motion.
Yes.
He reads the motion, which are the stipulations.
Right. So everybody understands what he's asking for, right? Okay.
So now the people are saying yes, yes, but
Right.
it's then seconded.
It then needs to have a second. Let's say Chris said, I put forth, I'm going to make a motion. Here's the following stipulations. These people can never open the windows and they can only be open on Tuesday from 1 to 2, right? Okay, that's my motion. Let's say no one on the committee agrees with that. He won't get a second, in which case we don't even consider it. Right? You wait for someone else to make a motion, and then maybe Chris will say, all right, you know what? I'm going to make a different motion. It's going to be our usual stipulations. Does everyone agree with, does anyone agree with that? Somebody say, yeah, I'll support that as well. You need a second to the motion. Then now it is under the consideration of the committee or the full board. It's the same procedure at either one. Now it's under the consideration. You open up the floor. Steve Harrison says, well, I got a problem with this, right? You say, well, what about this? I've seen these people do this, right? And now everybody gets in their 2 cents. We go on for a long time. Everybody gets sick of hearing what everybody has to say. We call a question and we make a vote.
And then we amend the stipulation.
It's very confusing because now you're going to
No,
have
I
to-
understand it.
You understand what she's saying? Because
Yes.
I did this for 2.5 years and this wasn't a confusion. Now I'm confused and I'm not even.
The reason why I made a motion to Chris, because he clearly stated that I'm taking our last applicant for an example. He said that I'm not making a motion, I'm reading the stipulations. So after I heard the stipulations and I agreed to them, I thought they were okay. I made a motion to accept the stipulations.
Barbara, let me make it simple.
And then it was seconded.
Okay, this is like parliamentary procedure. It's like we're at the constitutional.
I don't understand tonight.
I know it's this, then if you
See,
know
I was
parliamentary
always taught something
procedure,
different.
you apply it to this. It
I
gets
understand.
applied to every action of the board, every meeting.
I understand that.
Yes.
I've been parliamentarian, but
But as a
right now it's like,
Go ahead. As a chair,
what I would, right,
I've
go
chaired
ahead.
other committees and I've never made the motion because I felt like I was leading.
Yes, I agree with that. I used to do the
All
same
right.
thing. I'd stand there and look at
Can I-
everybody,
can I
go, does
make a
anybody want to say anything? We're all sitting here all night.
Right.
Right.
Why should I make
Barbara
the
had a
motion?
different style. You don't have to take her style. You could take anybody's style.
I understand where you're coming from, Lori. All right. But as a chair, I can make a motion.
You can.
And I know, but in the past, I never did.
Well, you know what happens? Okay. It's faster if you do it, because some nights people just aren't into it, right? And then you kind of sit there and, or they're, or somebody will be like, well, because basically Barbara came up with a good list. She's got a good punch list to get through and it makes things faster. So it's not wrong to do it that way. Like, it's not wrong for you to say, hey, here, you could, here's our usual stipulations, throw them out there. You could say, does anyone want to make that motion? Or you can make it yourself. As a practical matter,
It's faster
you
to
move
make
it faster.
Yeah.
You're
Agreed.
balancing
Agreed.
parliamentary
I got you.
procedure with attention span. It's like, it's,
I got you. I love your humor.
It's true.
Okay. Let's see, anything else on the agenda? Any new business? New business in March, we may have a presentation by Office of Cannabis Management. Am I correct, Josephine?
Yes, that's
Did we
correct.
pick some dates?
Yes.
We may.
so-
We were supposed to have one. a
We were
while
supposed to
back.
have one a while back, so we put in a
Mm.
request. We finally did hear back. Today, I did testify at the city council's oversight hearing on the proliferation of smoke shops citywide.
Pray tell, what did you say?
So I essentially said that the board adopted a resolution. I submitted that for the record. I
Mhm.
explained, our situation is no different than many of the boards that testified today and many of the council members, to explain that they've seen a sudden increase in the number of unlicensed smoke shops, whether they sell tobacco, CBD, or marijuana. Lori, I used your line to say that we were assured that we would have regulation when MRTA was the state marijuana tobacco, that marijuana regulatory tobacco, whatever it is, act. And it's kind of been a sloppy rollout. And we're seeing that on the ground, and we have parents and residents and businesses that call us every day that have concerns that there is ongoing sale in unlicensed establishments. There is no testing that's being done of this product. Talked a little bit about consumer protection. And we heard testimony from the sheriff's office, which has done a lot of these stings, the police department that's exploring into other enforcement options to their avail right now. And then the council is looking at different legislative solutions on the city end in terms of unlicensed tobacco shops, marketing. There were questions that were raised about possible lawsuits to the manufacturers and companies, similar to what they did with the synthetic marijuana a few years ago. The state sponsor, Liz Kruger, spoke and explained that there are changes that will be made to kind of streamline and make it clear, to clarify, make maybe stronger a little bit with the enforcement for unlicensed establishments. There was lots and lots of testimony. It was hours long. So this is the first of many meetings to come, but it seems that there's a task force that's working on enforcement with the rules and regulations that we have existing. But it's overwhelming, and what everyone said. I mean, there are crimes associated, robberies associated with this. There are over 1,300 unlicensed establishments that the police department has surveyed and visited citywide. There has been a sharp increase in robberies. I think the number was like 168% in 22 versus 21. They all remarked that, the rollout, there's only, I think one in Manhattan or two in Manhattan. There are 0 in Brooklyn licensed establishments, and they are proceeding with hearings and working with the Department of Health and all the regulatory agencies to identify what the issues and kind of brainstorm on ways to fix it. In a nutshell.
Thank you, Josephine, for that.
Thank you. And I would just want to say that, we had discussed this like when it was first becoming legal and everything. And then like outside of, the time that I was chair, the problems really started hitting home. And I believe that I could be wrong, but that it was because of the work of this board and Josephine and Justin Brannan, and, because we suddenly became like the poster child for enforcement, because every single news, clip that I saw on the news was of the enforcement actions that took place in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, right? And then all of a sudden it just kind of spread, but that really became like, I saw a visible news presence on that, and that enforcement had actually started to happen. So, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I think that Josephine, being the squeaky wheel, got some attention to this. I want to say thank you.
No, thank you. It's the residents too. And the residents continue to be very vocal. They attended the precinct council meetings. I know we have reps from the precinct, both Officer Ingebretson and Gandor on the call, the 68th precinct, visited every location, within our board that was reported. And now that's really going citywide. And, identifying that this was a real issue and early on and sounding that alarm and the press attention, the dispensary on the block of Our Lady of Angels on 73rd and 4th reopened. It was raided, it was confiscated, there was arrest, it was all over the news, and they're back in business, and it's going to be ongoing, building a case, going out again, and there really does need changes in the law because there's just too many, and it's just a tremendous. It takes a lot of resources to do enforcement of this many. And so something has to change, and they're exploring various options. So I think that's positive news.
I know I read the law. I think the law is about 127 pages, 130 pages long.
It is.
There's a lot of equity in it. There's a lot of, well, forget it.
But no teeth.
No teeth.
No enforcement.
No teeth. Says a lot, but no teeth, no enforcement mechanisms.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Yep, see lots of hands.
Second.
Hey.